When you think of Indian air travel, one name probably comes to mind. Air India, right? The iconic Maharaja. But let's be honest, that icon has, well, it's seen better days. But that's all changing. Right now, it's in the middle of this massive, massive reboot, one of the boldest corporate makeovers I think we've seen in a long time. So the big question is, how do you even begin to relaunch a legend? We're going to dive into the marketing strategy that's trying to get the Maharaja flying high once again.
And that really is the heart of it, isn't it? See, this isn't just about launching some new airline. We're talking about reviving a brand that's woven into the very fabric of India's national identity. And it's a brand with a history that's, let's just say, it's both celebrated and pretty complicated.
So look, before we can even talk about the future, we've got to take a step back. We need to understand where Air India has been, because honestly, its past holds all the clues to this whole transformation.
And this really gets to the core of the problem. It's like this tale of two airlines, right? On one hand, you've got this incredible legacy. Air India was a true pioneer, connecting India to the rest of the world. But then, there's the more recent reality. An airline that, under government ownership, got a reputation for, not so great service and all sorts of operational issues. That's the huge gap they have to close.
And then, everything changed. In 2022, a truly pivotal moment arrived. The airline was sold, and that single event set the stage for this absolutely massive, super ambitious reboot we're seeing today.
So this timeline tells an amazing full-circle story. It all started back in 1932, founded by the legendary J.R.D. Tata. Then, in '53, it was nationalized by the government. And now, fast forward almost 70 years, it's back with its original founders, the Tata Group. You have to understand, this wasn't just some corporate deal. For so many people, it felt like the airline was finally coming home.
All right, so the stage is set. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How in the world do you plan a comeback this big? Let's break down the core of their new marketing blueprint.
Okay, so job number one is something called brand repositioning. Basically, their mission is to completely flip the script on how you and I see the airline. They're trying to ditch that old, tired, government-run image and become a modern, premium carrier. And the secret sauce here? They want to blend this authentic Indianness with world-class international service standards. It's a really interesting tightrope to walk.
And look, this isn't just talk or some vague promise. The whole plan is built on 4 really solid pillars. First up, and this is the one you can't miss, modernizing the entire fleet. We're talking brand new planes. Second, a total digital overhaul. Making the website, the app, all of it actually work well. Third, they're expanding their network, adding smart, strategic new routes. And last, but honestly probably the most important part, a complete top-to-bottom revamp of the entire passenger experience.
And when I say they're modernizing the fleet, I am not kidding. Get this, they placed an order for over 470 new aircraft. Just let that number sink in for a second. That one number tells you everything you need to know about the level of investment and commitment here. It's a huge, flashing sign that says, this is not just a paint job, we are talking about a fundamental rebuild from the ground up.
So who are they trying to sell all these new seats to? Well, their strategy is pretty smart, actually. They're not just aiming at one group. They're going after business travelers, both in India and internationally. Then there are leisure travelers. Think of the huge Indian diaspora and families. At the same time, they're not forgetting about price-conscious flyers. That's where their other airline, Air India Express, comes in. And of course, they're really aiming for those affluent and corporate travelers with their fancy new premium cabins. It's like they're trying to cover all the bases.
But, a comeback story this big is never going to be a smooth flight, right? The airline is flying through some serious turbulence. There are massive challenges, but also some incredible opportunities on the horizon.
Let's talk about the headwinds they're flying into. First, that old reputation for poor service. That's a tough one to shake. Then you've got fierce, and I mean fierce competition from the big Gulf carriers. Plus, at home, there's a ton of pressure from low-cost airlines. But the tailwinds pushing them forward are also super powerful. The Indian aviation market is just exploding. The Tata name itself carries so much weight and trust. And you can't underestimate that deep emotional connection that so many Indians have with the airline. Not to mention, the synergies they'll get from their merger with Vistara could be a real game changer.
But at the end of the day, here's what it all comes down to. A fancy new logo and a slick marketing campaign, that's the easy part. The real acid test is execution. It's about consistently delivering on their promises. We're talking every single flight, every single day. That is the only way they're going to win back people's trust.
So, the big question is, will the Maharaja fly high again? Let's bring this down to what really matters for you, the passenger. What are the actual, tangible changes that you can already see and feel when you fly?
And you know what? Things are already starting to happen. It's not just a refreshed logo or some snazzy new uniforms for the crew, though they have those too. We're talking about real improvements inside the plane. The in-flight entertainment is actually getting better, which is a huge deal. The food, the menus, they're being enhanced, and they're way more active on social media actually talking to customers. It's all these little things, these consistent steps, that start to add up and slowly but surely rebuild a reputation.
So when you boil it all down, what's the ultimate mission here? It's really simple, but incredibly hard to do. It's about rebuilding trust, brick by brick, and completely repositioning Air India as a modern, truly world-class airline that can compete with the best of them.
And all of this leaves us with one final, massive question. The strategy? It's impressive. The investment? It's absolutely enormous. And the ambition is crystal clear. But is a brilliant marketing strategy really enough? Is it enough to overcome decades of baggage and truly help the Maharaja reclaim its place in the sky? We'll have to wait and see.